SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Through these weeks, we've talked about them being playoff weeks for us and needing to get points. And obviously getting 3 on Friday, that gives you a good start. And coming out with 4 out of 6 was good for us, especially playing a team that we were tied with in the standings. So I think 4-1-2 in our last 7 and picking up a lot of points. In the one game we did lose, we threw 50-some shots on net and was definitely winnable. So I like where the guys are at. I think their confidence is there. And it's like every night, Friday and Saturday nights, every weekend are completely different games and different styles, and that's the way hockey is. It changes, and you have to adapt. And I think our guys have done a really good job of that. And I think they feel like they're in games and they're going to battle. And I think our concepts and habits have been good enough lately that even when we're off, like maybe the first couple periods on Saturday night where we got a little spread out between our forwards and defensemen, we were able to defend on the back side of that and get ourselves in a position to win a game, but at least get a point out of it. So that's good, and we go into Michigan State week here, and we'll get rested up and ready, and then have a good battle in Ann Arbor and one down at Little Caesars.
Danton, you've talked all year about wanting your kids to get into position to host in the Big Ten tournament. Obviously, you're 4th, so don't hold a tie break, but makes this weekend even bigger. Are you talking about that? I noticed you don't even have a Big Ten leaderboard down there like they used to in the old days. Are you talking about it, or just making it about one game?
You know what? I think the approach we've kind of gone since I've got here, and I think the best one is take care of that next game in front of you. That's always the most important game, and I think that's a good process for the guys to go through. We can't win Saturday night's game. We can't get home ice on Friday or Saturday. Just keep working on ourselves and keep improving every night. I think for a mindset for the guys, we've told them since day one, let us worry about all the other stuff. You guys need to show up at the rink, work hard, have fun, do the things we're talking about, and come play fast, enjoy yourself at the games, and go from there. So, it comes up occasionally. Guys, certainly they talk about it and all that, and they know where we're at, and it's good this late in the season to be having those discussions. But really, we're focused on drop of the puck on Friday night.
And over the last 3 games, you've only given up 4 goals, and before that, you were giving up like 4 or 5, and occasionally 6 or so. Now, is that the result of better defense, or is that more a result of teams that you play?
Well, there's always a lot of factors. I think defensively we've done some stuff fairly well, and our sticks have been good, our closes and recoveries. But really, defense starts in where we got out of sorts a little bit the first 2 periods against Wisconsin. Wisconsin did a good job. They played fast, they moved the puck, and got on the other side of us. But defense really starts as soon as you lose the puck, and that's how you are your offensive zone spacing as soon as you lose the puck, and how you back pressure and how you read the rush, how you come through the neutral zone. And our forwards didn't do a very good job of that for 2 periods, but our defensemen defended really well, strung it out, and allowed our guys to get back. And then, quite frankly, we've just had very good goaltending for 4 games, and that's, hey, you need that to win hockey games. Every good team. It's not like everybody has a 90 save percentage and they're winning games. They're not. The teams that are in the top 10 have guys with outstanding save percentages, and there's a certain amount of breakdowns, and that's when you need a save. And Drew's given us that this last little bit, and timely saves at that. So there's a lot of contributing factors, but I get done with the games, and if we're under 15 scoring chances against, we should have a chance to win the game, and we have been under 15 almost every game since Christmas. We've done an outstanding job. We've had some teams under 10 and have been on the wrong side of it, but I know if we're in that range, we're doing things right. And even Saturday, after 2 periods, we were at 13 chances against, and it was only 16 at the end of the game, and that's after 2 overtimes. So we were able to find ourselves and go, that's a good sign of maturity of a hockey team.
Looking at the Michigan series, I'm not sure how much you've scouted them in the last few weeks or so, but any differences from what you played against them in a month ago in Detroit?
Well, you know what? I actually watched a replay on the Big Ten Network last night. I watched them play Minnesota after the Super Bowl was done. I was clicking around and watching. But no, you know what? They do a lot of things real well, and they attack. And you know, Quinn Hughes is he's dangerous. You got to keep an eye on him. You know, they're obviously missing Josh Norris, which doesn't help them. But they've had guys step up, and you know what? They're winning games, and they're kind of moving along. It's everybody except Ohio State in the Big Ten is kind of playing the same way, where you know they're scratching and clawing and getting some points out of the weekend. So you know they're dangerous. They've got a lot of speed. They play well, and you know what? They present some challenges for us.
Do you think you can sort of feel that this series is even more about the rivalry this week and more about positioning in the standings and what's at the end of that?
I don't know. I always feel the same. You know, regardless of the situation, when we play Michigan, I kind of feel the same about it. I think it's exciting. I think it's a good battle. And if you look at the games since you know last year, the series, every game was pretty darn close. We had those first two where you know they won 4-0, we won 5-0. Those were really actually pretty close hockey games if you take the goals out and look at the battle. But other than that, you know, they've been right down to either 1-goal games, overtime games, or an empty netter at the end. So it'll be a great battle. There's a little more on the line, but you know what? I think you can either the emotion of pressure and pleasure are basically the same. Are you nervous or you're excited? I want my guys in mind frame that they're excited and they're going to have some pleasure and they're going to have some fun playing this. Friday night, that's what they should be looking forward to. They should be confident enough and go out and play a heck of a hockey game.
I guess in channeling that emotion, then when you look back to the last time that you played them, it ended in a shootout win. Obviously, it didn't count as a technical win because of how it works, but it felt like it was. So how can you refer back to that and maybe channel that same energy?
Well, you know, you can refer back a little bit, and we'll go through you know our game film with them and show some highlights and all that, but really, you know, this is a game where, you know, if we have to channel back and find some emotion for these games this weekend, then we're in trouble. I don't think that'll be an issue with our locker room. And really, every weekend has been like this for a while. We keep saying every weekend we have with the Big Ten right now is the playoffs started, you know, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and that's the emotion that the guys have, and they've been bringing that, whether it was a Minnesota series or Penn State or at Notre Dame or back here against Wisconsin. It's had that feel. So I'm not too worried about that. We won't have to prep for emotion. We'll just prep for competency and make sure the guys at the drop of the puck is when they're emotionally ready to go. Not you can get amped up too early for it. So we won't spend a lot of time with that.
You've shown a lot of progress the second time you've met an opponent, whether it be in Minnesota, obviously, or Wisconsin, getting more points, or even more points against Notre Dame. In what ways has your team allowed that to happen, firstly? And secondly, what's next for your team? What are some of the next areas of screws that need to be tightened that you're looking forward to?
Well, you know, yeah, Big Ten is interesting that way because you play everybody plays a series the first half of the season, then you play a series the second half. And last year, you know, we looked for some improvement. We found that, and I think this year's has been the same way. But I think, you know, the way you play those games early has to guide you. It has to guide you in practice and in terms of motivation, and again, continuing that process of just getting better week in and week out. And there's big areas that we've continued to work on, whether it's offensively or defensively. But you know, coming out of last weekend, we looked at a few things. I think neutral zone defense, we could be a little better. I think we're a little off on that. I think our forecheck and our transition to offensive zone. We've been better in the offensive zone of late, but I don't think we have enough habits and concepts down that when we get away from it, we fall completely away from it. Whether it's how our D move the puck and get it through, how our forward support, whether we're using the third forward. When that goes, it's not a habit yet if you don't do it all the time automatically. So, you know, we just want to keep adding more and more automatics. We've got a lot on the defensive side. I think the guys have a good feel, and that got us through the game on Saturday, was just having enough good habits on the backside of doing things wrong, if that makes any sense. So, hey, you're working on that offensively. We've got one line that has a lot of automatics, and they do it very, very well. The other guys, when they are doing things the right way, we can put some pressure on offensively, and when they're not, we end up playing a lot of defense like we did on Saturday night.
Dan, are there any players on your team that are playing at a high level individually that you may not, you see it, but the meeting the fans don't?
Well, you know what, I think, you know, on defense, I think that Dennis Cezanna gets a lot of pub, and he should. He's got 20 points as a freshman defenseman, which is pretty good. I think the other freshmen are doing a great job. I think Dennis, or the Krieger brothers, have really elevated their play. They're not all the way there yet, but they really help us when they're playing effective minutes. I think Jared Rosberg is an underestimated defender and offensive wise, and brings a good physical element to us. Tommy Miller, since Christmas, as far as being an unsexy, not a lot of points, not real flashy player out there, has been very physical. He's skating a lot better. His gaps have been great. He's just been really, really good, I think, since Christmas for us. So up front, guys that have started kind of jumping in, and I think Saliba, Lambden, and Cody Milan have really bumped up their game since Christmas. And I think out of all the things in the lineup that have leveled things out, it's been them elevating their play and just giving us just more depth up front and more attack up front. So, there's some other guys, and I think the goalies are kind of taking turns winning games, which is okay by me.
If people are just being fair looking at the numbers, Taro should clearly be in the Hobie Baker discussion. Would you talk about him as his coach? I know that you understand the impact of the Hobie, but just how important he is to this team and where you think he should be in that race.
Yeah, I don't think you can underestimate, because there's all the different areas that I think for a real Hobie Baker winner to get in. That's, off ice is kind of hard to establish. You don't, leadership, how do you pass that on? But I can tell you that Taro's become more of an emotional leader for our team. You can see the way he reacts to things going on the ice. You can see him talking to guys. So, that's coming out. He's an outstanding student. I think he checks all the boxes. But I think, at the end of the day, it comes down to what you're doing for hockey. And I think his impact on our team offensively, and what's underestimated probably is defensively, the amount of ice time that he has, and then the number of goals against. There's a great article in College Hockey News. I know that Barnesy tweeted it out the other day, just the impact and the difference that he has offensively and defensively in totality compared to everybody else is night and day. And and I've been kind of saying that I don't think it's a matter of if he's in the conversation. I think he should be an automatic finalist for me, and I really think the battle right now is for second as it stands right now. He's been a dominant player and just done unbelievable things, and I think he's separated himself.
Anything else?
All right, go green.